Hello, everyone, and thanks for being with us today. My name's Rita Wolfson, and I am the founder of Financial Social Work. This webinar is called Discovering Your Inner Social Work Entrepreneur, and we're so happy that you've taken the time to attend. So, we've done something a little different than what we usually do. We have been doing a monthly free webinar for many years, but today we have a couple of us who will be presenting and sharing some stories on entrepreneurship with you. Plus, we have a special announcement to make before we finish up today. So stay tuned. So one of our speakers today will be Mcmillan, and she's going to tell you about her pretty amazing experience as an entrepreneur. And we have LB Brown, who will also be talking about her newer and more recent experiences as an entrepreneur. So, just for your information, some of the most commonly asked questions, along with some suggestions. You can check the chat box for any messages that you might need. The slides are not shared; they are proprietary. But the recording of this webinar will be up on our Facebook page by the end of this week or the beginning of next. And we do email the recording to all of you. If you have questions, you can type them in during the presentation, and then we will answer as many as we possibly can. There are no CEs or certificates of attendance for this webinar. Okay. I do like to start our webinars with the financial social work affirmation because I feel it captures what my work is all about. Just for today, I will love myself enough to face my fears, practice self-acceptance, and embrace hope. Just for today, I will silence my inner critic, speak my truth, and make peace with myself and with my past. I will give myself permission to eliminate toxic people, beliefs, and behaviors from my life. And just for today, I will prepare for a better tomorrow by healing my relationship with my money and myself today. So when we talk about money, everyone has a different reaction. So I like to suggest that you take a deep breath in and blow it out slowly, that you ground yourself and prepare for all that we have to share with you today. We're going to start with a poll. Why did you choose to attend this webinar? And I will launch this poll and see what you want to tell us. It's a great way for us to get to know why you're here. Okay. Almost half of you have voted. Okay. We'll give you a few more minutes. And we'll go ahead, and we're over 71%. So if you want to vote, go ahead, and I'll close it and I'll share the results with you. Very interesting. I thought about, as we were all working on this presentation, talking about some of the issues social workers experience and the feelings around money and burnout. But that's not what this webinar is exactly about. But I do have some ways for you to start earning more money, since that was the most interest from you as our audience. So stick with us definitely stick with us. So I'm going to close that poll and get started. Okay, first we'll talk about financial social work because we know that a percentage of our attendees are always new to the center's monthly free webinar. So no one chooses to have money problems, but as you all know, most people do because money is always the elephant in the room. And it's about so much more than dollars, cents, debt, math, budget, and crisis intervention. And I am just wondering, okay, let's go. So, financial social work is the intersection of social work, politics, the economy, gender, economic and social justice, and all financial inequity. And there are certainly many areas that come under those headings. Financial social work explores the fundamentals of financial health, the thoughts, feelings, attitudes, beliefs, experiences, and values because that's what drives financial behavior, how we earn, spend, share, save, and borrow. It is a heavily psychosocial model. It is a behavioral model because until and unless behavior changes, nothing changes. And the core of all of my work is healing the relationship with our money and the relationship we and clients have with ourselves. The model is interactive, reflective, and strength-based, educational, motivational, and supportive. It is holistic, multidisciplinary, and healing. It's hopeful, helpful, and works just great with individuals as well as with groups. The process is about healing that relationship, as I talked about, with money, recognizing and taking ownership of our financial health, and healing the relationship with self. So it is about self-discovery, self-care, and self-healing. So remember to stay tuned because we do have a special announcement towards the end of this session. So let's talk about discovering your inner social work entrepreneur. What exactly is an entrepreneur? Well, the definition is an individual who creates a new business. I thought about deleting the word new because, as you'll see, it really is once you create any business, once you're making money or selling a product or a service and taking money, that is considered a business. So, an entrepreneur bears most of the risks and enjoys, hopefully, most of the rewards. Entrepreneurs play a really key role in the economy. They have for the past few decades. They use the skills and initiative necessary to anticipate needs and bring good new ideas to the market. Entrepreneurship always begins, well, I think it always begins with an idea, a need that isn't being met. So that's where I feel I want to encourage all of you to be thinking about as we do this training. So it includes both social innovation, new services and products, new processes, or new target markets, and social enterprise, applying business and entrepreneurship principles in the social sector. So ask yourself what you think would improve your job, your life, or the world. I did notice on that poll, I think it was 6% of you did mention that you had an idea that you would like possibly to turn into a business. So that's what we're talking about here. One idea can change the world. And if you really think about what would make your life better or easier, or your job better or easier, that's often a place where you might find the incentive and motivation to develop a business. So, the characteristics of a successful entrepreneur, whether born with these traits or developing them over time, these are some of the similar traits of successful entrepreneurs. They are passionate, they are visionaries, they are focused, they are optimistic, confident, action oriented, independent thinking, resourceful, and problem solving, tenacious ability to overcome challenges and hardships. So confident is one that I think that a true entrepreneur, which I definitely consider myself, is all of those things. But there's always some concern about how successful it will be. So yes, we want to be confident, but we don't want to feel that we can't do something new or different just because we're not at that level of confidence that we'd like to be. I just thought I would include this because it's so interesting. And I know I've had occasion to talk to my grandchildren about the fact that we learn by failing. And if you've never failed, you've never tried anything new. And with my grandson, we talked about Michael Jordan and the fact that he didn't make his basketball team in high school. Albert Einstein, so brilliant, and yet he didn't speak until he was 4 years old. Steve Jobs, Oprah Winfrey. So we don't always make it the first time. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 times, and I think that's worth knowing. So ask yourself when it comes to entrepreneurism, are you a self-starter? Are you willing to work hard? And I do mean hard. How well do you plan and organize? How will the business affect your family life, your lifestyle? How comfortable or good are you with making decisions? Lots of decisions need made. How well do you get along with different types of personalities? Is your drive strong enough to maintain your motivation? And you have the physical, emotional stamina to run a business. So, 7 things they don't tell you in school about being an entrepreneur. Dropping out won't make you the next Steve Jobs. You'll be much better off if you finish school and before starting your entrepreneurial journey. You have to be insanely self-motivated because you will be wearing many different hats. There will be many different challenges. You won't get rich, at least not right away, because you have to build the business and that can take time. Procrastination is a death sentence because you just have to keep on pushing, keeping really accurate and actual work hours and routines. Finding your dream is tough. Demonstrate to everyone your company's values so people feel confident that your venture is reliable. Your pride could be seriously wounded. Accept education and insight from your mistakes. That's what I just talked about, learning from our mistakes. Check your ego at the door. However, success never tasted so good. Being an entrepreneur can be difficult, but the rewards can make it definitely all worthwhile. So, in preparing for this training, I felt it was important to also raise the topic of side hustles. So, what is a side hustle? It's a means of making money alongside your main form of employment or income. And I think that for social workers and helping professions, and you will hear from Shay talking about her work, that a side hustle is not only a very good way to bring in income, but also has many advantages. So what goal would you have for starting a side hustle? Let me bring up that poll and launch it. Wait a minute. Okay. Okay. So if you have other reasons that aren't on here, go ahead and put them in the chat box, and Olga can share those with us a little later. I think that, I put these polls together just to try to encourage you to be thinking a little differently, examining what it is you want and need, to feel fulfilled, to have the money you need. 65% of you have voted. We'll go ahead and give it 3 more seconds, and I will close and share it with you. Okay, share. So again, making extra money. That's the reason we all think about side hustles, entrepreneurism, any way to increase our income. And many of you may have seen today that inflation rose more last month. I believe it's than ever in history. I have no idea how people can actually afford to pay for some of the things just for groceries today. So let's keep going. Okay, so let's take a look. Who are the side hustlers in America? More than half of them are women. And according to this graphic, the most prevalent ones are between 18 and 25 or 18 and 34. The majority of them seem not to be making a tremendous amount of money, but they are making some money. And their goals are to make ends meet, extra spending money, and to fund a big purchase. I thought this was very interesting. 32% of side hustlers are selling a service. 30 are selling new or handmade items or flipping and reselling used items. 15% take online surveys, mystery shops, and other miscellaneous jobs. I hadn't thought of very many of these, to be honest with you. 13 participate in the gig economy, and 10% have multi-level marketing businesses such as Avon and the others. I should have had a poll asking how many of you already do side hustles. I would have liked to have known that. So, side hustles are not just a tool for making money, they're also a way to teach yourself valuable skills and help you grow as a professional and as an entrepreneur. So, this was very interesting. Once you start earning money in your side hustle, you are considered a business as a sole proprietor. So, if you are making money on the side, you already have a business. Anyone providing a service and collecting money is a business person and considered a sole proprietor. And many businesses start that way, and that's perfect for them, and they don't want to do or be anything different or more. But some do grow to be much bigger. So I thought it was interesting to read about knowledge-based side hustles, freelancing through these different websites, tutoring, teaching an online course, writing an ebook, answering questions in your area of expertise. And we have to start with the why, play to your strengths, consider your time, find your tribe. That's a good one. As social workers, we know the importance of finding and having a tribe, and set realistic goals. Benefits of starting a side hustle: make the extra money, work around your job's schedule, be your own boss, and work as much or as little as you want. And I thought these 55 ideas for side hustles were also helpful. So when this recording comes out, you can revisit these if you're interested in seeing more. Now, remember to stay with us. We're just about to share some of our entrepreneur stories. And after that, we're going to have our special announcement. So I'm going to start with a very brief look at my own entrepreneurial story. And it is by far the longest one here. And I do consider myself a serial entrepreneur because I have created some other businesses previously. One was a special event company on Long Island in New York. And most of you know that I have been doing and creating financial social work for 24 years. Next year, in 2022, we will have our 25th celebration of financial social work, which began as Feminomics in 1997. I created that word and I gave it the definition of the gender of money. And the picture of the woman climbing the mountain is theoretically supposed to be me because it has been a very long and uphill battle through the years. So Feminomics is about the feminization of poverty because poverty has a woman's face. And in addition to all of that, I have 7 Feminomics components, beginning with the fact that women earn less, live longer, are often charged more for products and services, and too often the elderly, and especially elderly women, live in poverty. And the U.S. Constitution does not guarantee equal rights for women, as hard as that still is for me to believe. And here you see a quick graphic of the gender wage gap, and that's where Feminomics grew out of the fact that women earn less than men. White women earn 80 cents on the dollar, African American women 58 cents, and Latino women 43 cents on the same dollar that a white man earned the previous year. So when I was starting out, I was told that social workers don't talk about money. And people felt very strongly about that. And for the past 24 years, I've been proving that not to be true, since when you really stop and think about most of the work we do has a financial component. So a few months ago, I did our monthly free webinar with NASW North Carolina, and it was called Social Workers and Money. We need to talk about it. And we do. We really need to talk about it among ourselves and with our clients. And one of the things that really troubled me was the fact that if we're not talking about money with our clients and we're not thinking about it and helping ourselves to have a better way of life ourselves, how is it that every one of the 12 grand challenges has a financial component? Yes, financial capability is in the middle on this pretty graphic, but accomplishing and achieving any one of these 12 grand challenges has a financial component. as does so many of the presenting problems of clients that we see. So in 2020, when COVID struck, that did change a lot at the Center for Financial Social Work. People really began to realize that this was going to take a real toll on our low-income clients and on the economy. And then came Black Lives Matter. And as a result, we've had many hundreds and thousands of new students. We are in every state across the country, and we are in China, Iceland, Canada, Japan, Finland, and so on. And now, that being my story, I'm going to turn this over to LB Brown and let her tell you a little about herself and her introduction to being an entrepreneur. Go ahead, LB.
All right. Thank you so much. So excited to be here. This is such a great discussion. And I feel like social workers have such a great skill set for being an entrepreneur. So I'll just jump right in. I am licensed independent clinical social worker, certified financial social worker, in practicing in Alabama. And I started my journey in January of this year, 2021. And right now, we can go to the next slide. So currently, I am a mom, a wife. I am providing virtual therapy services, and I do have some financial social work coaching and sessions going on as well. And I just wanted to share my quick journey so far in hopes that this could help any of you out there who is wanting to start this. So first thing is understanding and coming to terms with your current situation. So for me, that is working 5 hard years, 1 year in macro social work, 4 years in a medical facility, full-time job, benefits, 401k, had a great boss, but I was getting burned out, and as many of you know, there's a lot of red tape out there when trying to work with your population. So after coming to terms with that, I realized my mental health and my physical health were depleting, and my role as a wife and a mom, they were being affected. So that is when, for my next suggestion, that is when I, after coming to those terms of I have a great job and great things going for me right now, this other part of my life is not so great. So I then invested my time and my money in a growth coach, in getting back into therapy, and surrounding myself with mentors and people who would support this transition. And that can mean a lot of different things to different people. Planning financially. I know in the workbook 3 of the certification, the financial social work certification, there are even sections dedicated to this topic here. So, anything you need to do to provide support in this journey for you. All along the way, I still had my professional goals to get my clinical license and a few other things. So it's not that I stopped those, but I just added this to my plate. So months before I actually did put in my notice, I talked with my husband, my supports, explained my desires to become an entrepreneur. And then my timeline looks like, after years of being burned out, I knew I had to make a change. So in December, I started thinking of branding myself. And then in January, I hired a growth coach. And then in March, I was finished branding myself for the first time. And then my last days of the job were in May. So you see how you build over months. You still keep your, doing what you're doing, but just add these things to your plate as you can. Okay. So another big important part with this is understanding your why. I feel like this has been a popular topic, and it's very important. So understanding your why and what decisions that align with your entrepreneurship goal. And the reason why is this will keep you on track with the hardest days. It'll keep you on track with your vision and your goals. You also will be able to look for and take certain opportunities you normally wouldn't take. And then also, this will allow for multiple streams of revenue. And the way that I was able to find my why was exercise 7 levels deep exercise. You can just Google it and that will come up if anybody needs help, because you got to get a little deeper than just you want to earn more money or you want to make the world a better place. So that's my next suggestion. Understand your why. And then I believe last one is to get ready to make uncomfortable decisions and being vulnerable. And so what I mean by that is that you're stepping into a role that you've possibly never had. And this opens the door for allowing your friends and your family and of course strangers into your dream that you've had, and you're finally putting it in place. And so being vulnerable and confident, all those things that Rita mentioned earlier, just know that will be on your plate as you go down this path.
LB, I really appreciated it. Brought up so many things for me when you talked about you're sharing this dream that's been yours alone for all this time, and all of a sudden when you put it out there, you don't know what the response will be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I appreciated that. Thanks so much, LB. So now, Miss Shay, take it away.
Hello, can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Good. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. I think. Wait, no, that's me. Wait, share my screen. Now I practiced this. Got it. Okay.
You good?
Everybody see my screen?
I don't.
No, you don't.
Okay, hold on, Shay. Let me see if I can maybe hand it off to you.
Yeah, I think I need to be the presenter.
Right.
Yeah, because I'm looking at your screen.
Change presenter. Okay, Shay. Okay, you should have a little box that makes you presenter.
Okay, now can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Well, welcome. So I am Shay Mcmillan, and we are going to be talking about how I discovered my inner social work entrepreneur, how I stumbled upon my inner social work entrepreneur. I feel like we have heard from a seasoned entrepreneur, which is Rita, and a new entrepreneur, LB, and now we will hear from me. I discovered my inner social work entrepreneur about 4 years ago. So I guess I have been in the game for about 4 years. So a little bit about me. I'm a wife, a dog mom, social worker, financial social worker, money coach, Etsy shop owner, small business owner, and a YouTuber, and of course, an entrepreneur. I just wanted to outline these things, not because they are super important to me, although they are, but mainly because I never in a million years thought that I would be anything on this list, especially an entrepreneur. But here I am, and I just want to share with you guys, just kind of throwing it back to the start of my professional career and my business, and just kind of run through that process with you guys today. But first, I want to take a little toll, and I want to know, how interested are you in working for yourself as a social worker? Which Rita kind of asked that question a little earlier, but I am going to put the toll up for you guys to vote. And I'll give that a few seconds for everybody to vote. I guess when I have about 70% or so who have voted, then we will move forward. But I just want to know, how interested are you in working for yourself as a social worker, or being a social work entrepreneur? Okay, we have 67% voted. I'll just wait a few more seconds and then I will share the results. And if you're not really looking at the poll, the selections are very, somewhat, and or not at all. Okay, so I'm going to close the poll and share the results. And we have a lot of people, well, it makes sense. Obviously, a lot of people are here because they are interested in working for themselves as a social worker, which I love. The reason why I asked that question is because I never in a million years thought that I would be working for myself as a social worker. I never had any intentions of doing so. I never had an entrepreneur spirit. I never had a business idea. I never had any of this, and I just kind of stumbled upon it. And like I said, I just want to take you guys through that journey, because honestly, if you have an idea, if you're interested in it, if this is something that you want to do, then you're already bounds and leaps ahead of me. And so I would consider that to be a good thing. Okay, so let's talk about how I kind of prepped for my professional career. Spring 2008, I got accepted to college. Fall 2008, that was my first semester of undergrad. I went in as an undecided major. I am one of the people who just kind of lives in the present, and I really don't have a lot of full, like, long-term plans for myself outside of financially. That's about the extent of the planning and the preparing that I try to do. But otherwise, I'm just kind of here in time and space. I actually just recently, last week, finished doing the rest of the things that I needed to do, to include college classes for getting my independent licensure, which I never wanted to do either. I just kind of did it because it was offered by my job. So I just want to say, if you're not too sure, if you're fearful, or whatever the case is, and honestly, it doesn't matter, because you can still go on to do great things, start a business, discover your social work entrepreneur, even if that is not the case for you. So I just want to say that I haven't always, I've never really had a real long-term plan or real plans for my life. That 5-year, what do you want to be in 5 years, or whatever, that question is frightening for me. So let's keep going. Spring 2010, I took my first social work class, still undecided at this point. This was my sophomore year, and I took it as an elective. So I just wanted to kind of see what it was about. And it was so fun. And I learned that it was, I always say that social work chose me, and I did not choose social work. And I believe that to be the case. And after I finished the social work class in that semester, I did declare my major, which was social work. So spring 2012, I actually applied to grad school at the last minute, the day before I needed to do that, in fact, and I was accepted. So that's all well and good. And then I also graduated in spring 2012 with my BSW. Fall 2012, I started grad school, and I actually was working full-time during that time, which we'll talk about in a minute. And I did a part-time program. It was like a cohort, and I did that for 6 semesters, so 2 full years, spring, summer, fall. And then I graduated in spring 2014, still not really knowing what I want to do, with my life. However, I would go on to, going to grad school and all of that stuff. But I want to talk a little bit about the money messages that I was taught whenever I was in undergrad, and not even just in undergrad, but just in grad school, or just in life in general when it comes to social work. The money messages that I received as a person who was interested in, taking social work classes, or a person who was going to become a social worker. Some of the negative money messages included: social workers are overworked and underpaid. Social workers don't make a lot of money. Social work is a great profession, but they don't make a lot of money. A positive money message that I received was: social workers can make 6 figures or more. And then some other money messages include: social workers can take advantage of the public service loan forgiveness program to get student loan forgiveness. And if you start a private practice, then you can make a lot of money. So the other money messages were kind of neither here nor there. I wouldn't consider them to be positive nor negative. And in fact, I never wanted to start a private practice. I still don't want to start a private practice. And those messages just never really resonated with me. However, the one positive money message that I did receive, which is that social workers can make money and can make six figures and earn a decent salary, that really did resonate with me. And that was a message that was taught to me in my classes by one professor, and that was he's actually a macro social worker, so he's like lobbying at the Capitol all hours of the day, I feel like. But he really did stress that and just kind of brought that up. And that was really the only time that I really heard any positive message about social work, but that would stick with me as I moved through my career. So I started my professional career, if you will, in spring 2012, accepted a job making $26,000. In fall 2014, which was after I graduated from grad school, I accepted a job making $28,000. In summer 2015, I accepted a job making $30,000. In fall of 2015, I accepted a job making $34,000. And currently, I'm actually at my same job, this job from 2015 that I accepted in 2015. However, I have two roles now. Neither of them include the one on the screen, the parent consultant role, but I do two other jobs, working as a social worker, and my salary has significantly increased. And also, as of right now, I have added my side business, side hustle business, whatever you want to call it. I call it many things because I do work full-time outside of the home as a social worker, but I do run a profitable business, or I have profitable side hustles. And at this point, and for the last 3 years, I have been earning over six figures as a social worker. Just to kind of run through what I did and what I do. In 2017, I started my YouTube channel, not because I wanted to, but because I was having a difficult time with uploading this video that I was trying to upload to Facebook. And it was at that time, my husband and I had just gotten married, and a lot of people were interested in our financial journey, because that really started in 2017. And a lot of people were interested in that, to include, friends and family members and stuff like that. So I just threw up a video on YouTube. I later learned that you could make money through YouTube, and that people actually watched other people on YouTube, because I didn't even know that was a real thing. And so I monetized my channel. And since then, I've been earning at least a four-figure number each month just from uploading videos alone. 2017, I also incorporated affiliate marketing, which is essentially advertising on behalf of other companies and earning a commission from that. In 2018, I added brand collaboration. So I started advertising for banks like Chime and Regions Bank and so on and so forth. And for me, I get paid money for doing that. Typically, I charge a four-figure number for that as well. And so I do that each and every month. I added one-on-one coaching, small group coaching, budget coaching, to be specific. Also large group coaching, which can sometimes be, I consider that to be kind of like not coaching. If it's a huge, large group, I normally categorize that as something else. And then I also added an Etsy shop in 2018 where I sell financial printables and things that you can purchase to kind of advance your finances. 2019, I added speaking engagements. So I began accepting speaking engagements from colleges and other companies. And I also did my own speaking engagements in 2019, right before COVID struck. So that's been, I don't do that in person anymore, but I was doing some workshops in Atlanta and Houston, New York, so on and so forth. And then I also became certified I got my FSW certification, my financial social work certification in 2019 as well. And then haven't really done much. I haven't added much to what I'm already doing, which is all of the things on the screen since COVID, but I have been working on a group coaching program that I hope to launch maybe 2022 at this point. And I will be doing just some coaching with whoever wants to join. Mainly my audience is women, to help them to improve their relationships with money. So essentially everything that I do, it is pretty much centered around helping others improve their relationships with money. So how I use financial social work specifically through budget and money coaching, again, that can be online or even in person, speaking engagements and seminars, ones that I'm invited to or ones that I put together and put on myself, providing education, of course, through social media platforms like Instagram and YouTube, just merely sharing tips to improve one's relationship with money, or tips to improving or managing money. And then, like I said, I do have a group coaching program pending. And so I know that my time is running out, but I do want to share just a few tips. I guess I won't go into detail about all of them, but these are some things that I think are important, which is to research as much as you possibly can about what it is that you're about to do. I really don't have to go into a lot of detail about that because LB already talked about that a little bit. And of course, to start. To create a business plan and, kind of to figure out who your target population is going to be and how you will fill a need. I'm happy to report that while I do everything that I do seems very millennial in nature, like this is just something that a lot of millennials do, and I'd say that's accurate. There are a lot of people who do this, and a lot of people who are not social workers or financial social workers, just a lot of people who are willing to help teach people how to improve their relationships with money. Also, outlining the services to be provided. What services are you going to provide? Even if you were opening up a private practice, that would still hold true. You need to know what services you're going to be providing, especially as part of your business plan. And the most important thing on here is to leverage your skill set. So as a social worker, I have great writing skills, communication skills, documentation skills. I have a whole bunch of skills. I know how to do motivational interviewing. I know how to do this. I know how to do that. I have so many skills that I have learned as a social worker, and I'm able to leverage or capitalize off of that skill set by using the skills that I have learned to help people to improve their relationships with money and to identify the barriers to having a healthier, financial situation and financial future. Also, pay to learn what you don't know. Same thing LB mentioned is to pay for this, a coach or financial planner, or whatever it is that you need. If you don't know it, there's somebody who can teach it to you, possibly for a fee. So pay for that. Utilize social media as free advertising like Facebook and Instagram, and to utilize free websites and tools like Canva and iMovie. Sometimes it can be tricky if you don't have a lot of business expenses. That means more of your income is going to be taxed. But for as long as I can remember, I've been earning, the first year that I've started doing this in 2017, at the end of 2017, I earned a couple thousand, and then it kind of just grew from there, 40,000, 50,000, 60,000, so on and so forth. And so I always pride myself on the fact that most of the things that I use are free or do not cost a lot of money. So I actually do get to keep at least 10% of the income of the six figures that I am earning each and every year. And last thing that I want to leave you with is straight from the financial social work, one of the workbooks, and we can just skip down to the bottom of this, obviously, because of time purposes, but a negative thought or even a negative money message that some of us, may have been taught or that we may think is that it's unlikely that I will make a lot of money as a social worker, but a way to reframe that to a positive statement or message is that I am equipped with the knowledge, tools, and network to create a more financially secure future. And that holds true for me because I feel like that is exactly, that's something that I capitalize off of each and every day, is the skill set and the knowledge and the network that I have, and how it has helped me and my husband to be able to work towards an earlier retirement, which is the only financial goal, or really the only goal that I have in life, is to retire in like 10 years. So that is what I want to leave you with. And I know that I'm out of time, so I will pass this back over to Rita.
Thanks, Shay. That was great. And I can just picture everyone applauding you because they got so much out of it. Okay, so before we finish up, we're going to get to Q&A. But remember, we do have a special announcement coming up. I do like to include this slide in every presentation because it's a reminder that we need to teach children and prepare them for the real world. And the only way to do that really is to teach them about money, because the reason we have so many people in this country And so many of our clients struggling financially, as well as those of us on this call, is because we continue to raise generation after generation of financially illiterate men and women. So I wanted you to know that next month's free webinar is on addressing financial grief, and then we'll start January 2022 with the 5 secrets of financial health and wellness. I'll be doing that one, and we'll also be dropping a new ebook with the same name. We also have a monthly free Zoom meeting, and you can see here that if you go to Financial Social Work and click on the resources, you will find these upcoming free sessions. We have our certification, and that includes 20 CEUs from National NASW. It includes the 5 workbooks and the final exam, which is a 2-week open book exam. It also includes our Financial Social Work Professional Network. We have a group on Facebook and on LinkedIn, and we meet monthly so that we can talk about case studies, what different students and graduates are doing with financial social work. So we have lots of things. We are a community. And now we are finally at the special announcement, and it is introducing the Financial Social Work Partner Program. So we have been talking about increasing social workers' money in whatever way feels right to you. And as a side hustle, the Center for Financial Social Work is proud to announce our new partner program. It's launching today as part of this monthly free webinar on discovering your inner social work entrepreneur. And the why is because so many social workers refer their colleagues to our certification. We decided to demonstrate our appreciation and to give all social workers and helping professionals the opportunity to earn $50 as a referral fee. The process is extremely simple. You don't need to be a graduate, and you can benefit from it financially as well as personally and professionally. You just need to click the button, and we're showing you here. It's a $sign on our website at the top of the website, but you do need to be logged into the website. You don't have to be a student or a graduate, but you do have to put in your name and email, and then you will see that $sign. You can copy the link. When you click on it, it will pop this this particular screen up, and you copy that link and you can share it with colleagues, friends, or anyone. And you will receive $50 for that referral. If that person, if someone purchases it after clicking on your link within 14 days after that click. And those $50 referral fees are paid via PayPal within 30 days of the referral. And so that is our Financial Social Work Partner Program. You will have a dashboard with a link to it, and you can see how many people used your link, how many were converted, and how much we owe you. So, in conclusion, before we now begin our Q&A, I'm going to assume that there are questions, and you will be receiving an email right after the webinar. I'm trying to find my final poll. You will receive an email right now with all of that information on how to use our partner program, and you can get started. So my final poll today is to ask you what you enjoyed most, because I think that will help us determine future webinars. So, interesting. Okay, let's keep voting, and we're almost up to 50% of you voting. All right. Well, none of it surprises me, but I'm going to go ahead and count it down and share those results with you. So 3, 2, 1, and let's close it and share it. So you like the stories. I think we all like stories. And I'm glad that you like learning about being an entrepreneur and about side hustles. So we'll hide that and we will go on to Q&A. Are there questions, Olga?
Yes, we have questions. First question to LB. How do you find a grow coach? Is it like a or different from life coach?
Great question. So for me, so my vision or my goal has been a 10-year goal to open a holistic wellness spa. And so I knew that I needed to grow in a lot of different ways to get to that point. And so I think I needed that versus a life coach of, what decisions to make. I needed to have somebody there to push me and ask me the questions that really I've been asking myself, but, had just having a safe place to talk to about somebody in that specifically growing to be able to become an entrepreneur and fulfill my dream. I hope that answers the question correctly.
Okay, thank you. Next question. What are the other options to work for yourself as a social worker besides private practice? I think it's to everyone who would like to answer.
Well, I think that Shay gave a lot of great examples with the skills that we have as social workers. They're applicable in so many different areas. Would you agree, Shay?
Yes, and I was looking at the time. I don't know, she may have asked that before I actually started, maybe perhaps, but yes, I would say that as a person who has no interest in opening or running a private practice, one way that I'm able to, help other people is through education. It could be writing a book or selling an ebook, or for me, coaching and just doing coaching, online or with people in the community, doing workshops. Again, I have a passion for teaching people how to improve their relationships with money, but still that would hold true in other areas if that is something that you're interested in as well.
Thanks, Shay. I think those are good answers. Olga, any more?
We don't have much questions. I just have few comments that some people already start joining affiliation program ready to sign up for myself and so on. And also, yeah, I think that's all. We don't have other. Some of the people asking share the slides, but I will answer personally that it's not shareable.
Right, we don't.
A bunch of questions just came in after 2:52. Olga, did you see those?
Yeah, I believe it's because of different times. It's happening all the time. It's Central Time.
Oh.
But anyway, we will have recording of this.
Right, we do not share the slides, but the recording will be up and you will receive the recording after attending this. And it's always on our YouTube channel and on our website. So any parting thoughts or comments, Shay or Albie?
Well, I guess I'm kind of confused because I see a bunch of questions on here, but I'm trying to figure out why I see them and no one else sees them. LB, do you see the questions that I'm seeing or anybody else?
I see the questions, but it's mostly like comments on the previous Rita poll questions. That's why.
Oh, you want to run through those, Olga? What did people say?
Shay, if you want to share.
Go ahead.
Well, I was saying, I see Landra asked, what systems do you use to work with clients? I don't know if that was for like who that's for, if that was for LB. And then I see how to determine the price for private coaching and some other questions like resources and recommendations for like finding someone to help you with taxes, creating an LLC, and some other things like, you know, like some questions like that. That's what I'm seeing. So I guess I was just trying to see if everyone else saw those same questions that I was seeing.
Yeah, it's strange because I don't see it.
Oh, you don't see it at all.
Yeah, my last question is actually your Instagram asking, but that's all. Strange.
Ew, maybe you need to refresh because I see there's like 8, 9 more things that popped up after that. Some of them are comments, but some of them are questions.
Well, sometimes we do find that there's a lot of individual, personal kind of questions that it wouldn't be right to answer in this forum, according to what we believe. But of course, there's many things we couldn't and didn't address in this webinar. The major one, certainly, or one of the more major ones, is financing and the legal aspects. So we were just trying to put out ideas because we know that there is a need. We all have a need to generate more revenue. And we thought this would be helpful to you. And I think, according to the comments and evaluations, that it was. So I want to thank all of you for attending. I want to thank you, LB, and certainly you, Miss Shay. Everyone loved hearing your stories. And I invite you all back next month when we'll be talking about financial grief. And it's very real, and it's a problem for a lot of people. So thanks, everyone. Stay well, and we'll see you back here next time. Bye now. Yeah.
Rita?
Yes.
I'm just accidentally drop off and just return.
Say that again.
I just accidentally drop off and just get returned to the webinar. Just for a few minutes, I wasn't here.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
all right. I'll just end it now.